All right, Unit 9, expressions and equations. I'm going to go over about 6 problems on how to do them. Our first problem is 1/3 x plus 2 equals 17. The question on Jeopardy asked, is 5 the solution? So let's go ahead and start solving to figure out what x is. Some of you might think that we can substitute 5 for x and to see if that equals 17. 1/3 of 5 is going to be definitely less than 5, and 5 plus 2 is not close to 17. So I don't think it's going to be a solution, but let's go ahead and find out the exact solution. I can subtract 2 from both sides. I get 1/3 x equals 15. How do I get rid of this 1/3? Well, I multiply by that reciprocal. Times 3 over 1 is 3 over 1. And 3 1/3 makes a whole, so just x equals 45. So no, 5 is not the solution, 45 is. And what I was talking about substituting is right here. So I can take my calculator. I can do 45 divided by 3. I get 15 plus 2 equals 17. Awesome. Next problem. 1/2 of m minus 3 equals 21. Solve for m. Alright, so if it's 1/2 of m minus 3 equals 21, if we're taking away 3 from this, we need to go ahead and add the 3 to both sides to get rid of it. So we're trying to isolate this variable. So I get 1/2 m equals 24. Well, half of m is 24. So what's m? It's probably going to be double this, and that's how we get it, because we multiply by the reciprocal here. 1/2, 2, that goes away. We're left with m equals 48. And that is 24 doubled. Awesome. Next question. Simplify this expression. Well, we see that we're taking away 3 groups of x plus 2. And then we're taking away 8. So taking away 3 groups of x plus 2, we can go ahead and distribute. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. We're removing 3 x's. Okay? And then we can distribute the negative 3. Now we're going to distribute that negative 3 to the positive 2. And taking away 3 groups, 2 would be taking away 6. And now that we've done this parentheses and distributed, we can subtract 8. Well, now we're talking about like terms. Well, negative 3x will stay the same. And we have 6, negative 6 minus 8. So we have 2 negatives here. So it's like we're adding this negative to this negative, and we're going to get negative 14. What I was talking about earlier is removing those 3 groups of x plus 2 is the same thing as minusing an x, minusing 2, minus x, minus 2, minus x, minus 2. And I'm left with minus 3x minus 6. That is the same thing we got here. Alright, next problem. Simplify. Same idea here. We're going to distribute this negative. This is the same thing as having a negative 1 right in front. Okay? Negative 1 times x is negative x, and a negative times a negative is always a positive. Remember, if we take away negatives in our life gets more positive. So removing negatives is a positive number. So negative 1 times negative 5 is plus 5. Okay? Minus, taking away 3 groups of 4x, well, that's going to be the same thing as taking away 12x. Don't forget, we still have to distribute out here, and this negative 3 goes to the positive 2. So we're taking away 6 now. Alright, and then we combine our like terms. We see that we have now negative 13x plus 5 minus 6 will be minus 1. Alright, like terms, same thing we've learned before. Alright, now we're going to simplify this last one. Woo! Let's go ahead and use the distributive property. right? We agree? Okay. Now that's the same thing as having that negative 1 in front. Or we're going to take away 4x, and then we're also taking away 2. All right, now we're going to combine those like terms. Negative 4x and negative 2x is negative 6x. All right, and then taking away 6 and taking away 2, the total of taking away those 8. All right, and that's our combined. So I want you guys to be really careful. Things that we see a lot of students struggling with is this negative 2 times a positive 3 is a negative 6. All right, and then don't forget that this also has to get distributed out here and here, just like we did before. All right, so that's why we got the subtraction of 2. All right, last and final problem. So if I go shopping and a decrease of 0.20, well, it's also like talking about 20%, is the same thing as multiplying by 80%. Well, that sounds right. Okay, because if I go to the store and I'm going to buy a purse and it is 20% off, that's the same thing as it being 80% on. All right, so let's test it. If the purse is $200, really expensive purse, 20% off, well, we can do 20 minus 0.20 of 200. And if you don't know, you can grab your calculator. 0.2 times 200. We get 40. So it's 200 minus 40. All right? Is equivalent to 160. Well, let's just go ahead and see. Could I have just done 800ths times 200? Yeah. So write an expression that matches. A decrease by 20% or 0.20 is the same as multiplying that value by 80 hundredths. So, like we did here, we can think about taking the price of something, we're taking away that 20% off, and we're getting it for 80% on.